Chris Elm. This is Mike Michaels. This is Chris Mike Shot. Woo! I'm the other guy. He's rocking and rolling. I think he's frozen. But there he is. He
I'm
just
back.
moved. It's like a
I'm
space
back.
and time. What do I do with my hands? What do I do with my hands? I'm Rookie Bobby. If you ain't first, you're last. A lot of analogies right there. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to our show.
Welcome to the show.
You
Did you see that thing I put on our page about Cliff Burton's dad?
Yes. And
how cool is that, man?
I think I remember hearing that somewhere, you know, maybe in like one of the Metallica documentaries or whatever, but it was really cool to read it again because I had forgotten that he did that.
Yeah. I've never heard of that. So for those of you that know what we're talking about, Cliff Burton's dad, Roy, is it Roy or Ray? I think it's Roy.
Ray.
When Cliff died in 86, his father wanted to Ray. So when Cliff died in 1986 from the bus crash in which Metallica beat the shit out of the bus driver, rightfully so, his father wanted to carry on Cliff's legacy, so he used the royalties of all the records that Cliff played on to put scholarships together to send kids through college. And that went on from probably 1987, 88, because it probably took a while for residuals to start coming in, but he did it until he died in 2022.
At 94 years old.
The amount of kids that went to school. Yeah. So just imagine the amount of kids that got to go to college that otherwise would not have been able to do so because of Cliff Burton's dad. That was just, and that kind of goes back to the stuff we've talked about many times in the show about, the whole, they're Satanists and they're satanic and it's devil music, blah, blah, blah. I'd love to fucking stand in front of those hypocritical Christians, because that's what they are. Don't judge, but you're going to don't judge me, but I'm going to fucking judge the hell out of you. And look, here's what the Satan worshiping devil music father of one of the arguably the greatest hard rock heavy metal band ever, aside from maybe Sabbath. Look what he did to help the world after he died, because his father had such a great, kind, and caring soul that he took that upon himself to carry out his son's legacy with the scholarship for kids. So, stupid ass judgmental fucking people. That's all I got to say.
Well, anybody who's studied any little bit of Metallica's history knows that Hetfield's parents were Christian scientists, so he's intimately familiar with Christianity, for those that are unaware.
Yep.
He watched his mother die because Christian scientists do not believe in modern medicine, and she got terminally ill and would not go to the hospital, and he just basically had to watch her die at like 15, 16 years old. He wasn't very old.
Is it Christian scientists or is it the Christian Scientology?
No, these were like old school Christian scientists. They were educated, but they believed that the Bible was the final word and God would take care of them, and they were only going to live as long as they were going to be healthy, because they wouldn't take medicine and they wouldn't go to the doctor, and they didn't believe in hospitals. And so he literally watched his mother die.
Wow.
I mean, you want to talk about a motivation for a life-changing event.
Mm-hmm. I did not know that. I learned something today. Thank you, Mike. Mike Michaels, ladies and gentlemen. Educated.
Well, I heard it from his own mouth it was either on the year and a half of the life of Metallica or one of the documentaries that I've watched on the history of the band. He talks about it, and he doesn't talk about it very often, but he has mentioned, this is what happened in my life as a teenager.
I've watched, yeah. I've watched those. I must have missed that. I don't know what I was doing if I missed that, but because what is it? Some kind of monster, and then the one with Bob Rock.
A year and a half in the life of Metallica. Right, that was released in the early 90s.
I think I saw that one. I'll have to go back and see. I think I watched that.
I can't remember which one it was on.
Yeah, right on. So what's on the agenda today, Mr. Michaels?
Well, speaking of YouTube and documentaries and television. And the last 2 times that I have gone looking for something to watch when like there's not a baseball game on or something, thank God I'm a Cubs fan or any kind of baseball fan, because there's plenty of days where I would have no entertainment at all because I subscribe to all but about one streaming service. And I spent at least 20 to 30 minutes like browsing through all that shit. And I've either watched the good stuff or don't want to take a chance on some piece of shit I've never heard of. But at what point do you have like information overload in this information world? Like how many other people go through that, you know, where there's nothing to watch?
I think it's relative to anything else. Like if there's always something to watch, but doesn't intrigue you enough that you want to watch it. You know, like
in this case,
I'll do
no,
the same
apparently.
thing. Nickie goes to bed before I do. Yeah, because Nickie goes to bed before I do, and about half an hour later I go to bed. So you know, in that half an hour I'll put on the go-to, which is either The Office reruns or Brooklyn Nine-Nine. You know, something stupid, mindless. But when we're done with something, it's like, what do we watch now? And then we'll kind of scour and look for things. And you know, right now we're watching season 2 of Your Honor. That's pretty cool. If you never saw the first season, it's Bryan Cranston.
Oh, he's a good actor.
Malcolm Middle and Breaking Bad fame. Yeah. So if you've never seen it, he's a judge. Season 1, he's a judge, and there's some stuff that goes down. He loses his judgeship for season 2. He's no longer a judge because the stuff went down season 1. So it picks it back up. It's interesting. There's death. There's chaos. There's mob related stuff in it. There's good versus evil type, you know, scenario. But it's a good show. So that just popped season 2. So we just started watching season 2. I think we're 4 or 5 episodes in. And they're only 8 episodes long, so it's not long-winded. It's not that takes you a month and a half to do things, you know. There's a sexy ass wife coming home from work. Hello, baby. Oh, she's naked, Mike. Woo! What are you doing outside naked? Shake that ass. For those of you not watching, you can't see it. Sorry. Sorry. And I just get the side smile. Yeah, so we're watching Your Honor. We were watching something else from that chick that made the show The Handmaid's Tale, but it just wasn't engaging. It's kind of dumb. You know, a lot of stuff's just going to start coming back again too. Outer Range, that was pretty cool. Have you ever seen that?
I've seen the previews for it like 1,000 times, and I don't know why I've never given it a chance.
Watch it.
Is it good?
Give it a chance. Yeah, give it a chance.
All right.
Yes. Here, she's going to say hello. Oh, she's clothed and everything.
I have clothes on. Just wanted
I believed.
everyone to know.
Yeah, I believed
Just
you.
want everyone to know I'm dressed.
Yeah, Outer Range though. Outer Range it's cool. It's 2 seasons. It's not super long episodes, but you'll like it because it's kind of without giving it away, you know, kind of like little space travel type thing. You know, the time-space continuum stuff with some chaos and death and all that kind of shit entwined in it. But it's good. It's a good flick, man. It's I think you'll like it. So Outer Range is a good one. Your Honor's a good one. And they're both quick. They're not like 10 seasons long, you know. You can bust through both of them in a few weeks.
Well, Saturday I ended up stumbling across Ray Donovan. Did you ever watch that?
Oh, we kind of. I watched a little bit of that. I have to remember if I watched the whole thing or not. But yeah, that's a good show. Little mobster action, right?
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
He's like the cleaner. He's like the cleans up the mess, right?
Yeah, so he's got one of the best lines I think I've ever heard anywhere in a movie or TV show.
Okay.
When he's in his lawyer's office, his lawyer says, "Give me one good reason why I shouldn't fire you." And he just calmly says, because I'm not the kind of guy that you fire.
Okay. That's
Like,
awesome.
the whole
That's
point
very
of the
awesome.
reason you hired me is because I do things that need to be
Right.
done that you're not willing to do. So the moment you fire me, there's
Yeah.
no more you. But he didn't have to say that. All he said was, because I'm not the
exactly.
kind of guy you fire.
Yeah.
Point taken.
It's understood.
Yes.
Yeah. So my phone doesn't like it when I wear a hat. It doesn't recognize my face.
Really?
So I sent
Let me
Jake
test
this
that.
meme. Yeah. I sent Jake this meme.
Oh, mine does.
NASA warns that that alien life may not be fuckable, right? It's a military meme, okay? And then they have a Marine saying, not with that attitude. So I sent it to Jake and he's like, is that a challenge? I was like, no, it's not a challenge, son. He's funny.
Here's an interesting
Does it
fact
recognize you with your hat on?
I saw the other day. Yes, it definitely recognizes me with my hat on.
Okay.
So the six.
Did you set it up with a hat on though? Because I didn't set mine up with a hat on.
No. How often do you see me wear a hat? Only on the podcast because
Okay.
it doesn't.
On the podcast.
Yeah. Other than that, I normally don't wear a hat unless I'm like going to be outside for 9 hours
Okay.
or something. The top of my head will burn.
Gotcha.
Did you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I feel you.
That the 6 heirs to the Walmart fortune have as much money as the bottom 40% of the United States, which is 170 million people.
That is not surprising. It's crazy how that thing exploded, right? From just one little place to boom. World dominance. Amazon's going to shut them down, though. Sooner or later, it's going to just dwindle away. They're going to start closing stores because we're going into that world where everything is, except for the exception of women's clothing. Like Nickie buys some stuff, online, but when you get it, it doesn't fit right. It's either too small, it's too big, or weird little things you can't see online.
Yeah, women always say
I think clothing
they got to
will
try
be something
stuff on.
that for the most, yeah, exactly. So I think on a whole, anything that's clothing wise, especially on the women's side of life, is always going to have to be. There's going to have to be a what the fuck, a sticks and bricks location to go take a look, check it out, see what's what. But everything else,
were you looking for brick and mortar?
Everything else can be so Amazon. Yeah, brick and mortar, sticks and bricks, brick and mortar, same thing.
I like sticks and bricks.
Sticks and well, it's just when
it should be a hardware store.
It's a real estate thing. So when people
welcome to Sticks and Bricks.
Yeah. So when people yeah, oh, there you go. When somebody asks about like a real estate or something, and I'm trying to get understanding what they're looking for, if they're talking about manufactured homes, things like that, I was like, well, you really want something sticks and bricks because that's where your value is going to be. Manufactured homes don't hold your value, and they're like, oh, okay, So it's truth, you gotta have value, man.
What is the resale value on a trailer? Manufactured home.
It's there's so many variables. If it's on land, so like my house is sitting on an acre, so if a manufactured home is sitting on an acre, the land's going to propel the value upward. If you're sitting on a residential lot and you're a neighborhood across the street is all sticks and bricks, and they're selling for, say, our average of $438,000. The manufactured homes sitting on residential lots are going to sell for probably $100,000 less. Because you just don't hold value in them. But if you have land, the value is going to sustain itself to an extent,
right?
Not as much as an actual sticks and bricks. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's quite a difference. Is that the average price of a house in Phoenix now? 400,000.
Right now, 438,000 is the median house price. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
And when we paid $129.9, I thought that was like way out of my league.
Right. My first house was, I think our first house was 134,000, maybe 118,000. Maybe it was 118,000. I don't remember now. It's been a while.
You bought
But
yours
yeah.
before I bought mine, didn't you?
And there's still. Yeah, we bought the year after I got in real estate. We bought our house. Yeah. So. Yeah, when we were jamming, we were in an apartment for a while. I don't remember if we was I in real estate when I was in the band, or was I still working at the Mark Center?
You were working at the Mark Center at the
I was
group
still at the
home.
Mark Center, according to the voice.
Yeah,
the voice from beyond. Yeah,
100%.
yeah. So we hadn't bought the house yet. Yeah, yeah.
And I bought mine in 2001,
Yep.
2000, 99. Fuck, I don't know.
Yeah,
It was
'cause I
somewhere
got
around
in-
2000.
I got it. I got in there in 99. Yeah, because I'm 25. It's my 25th year this November. Or
Okay, then it was definitely 2000.
This November, my 25th year anniversary of, yeah. It's 25th anniversary this November of me going to real estate school. And then I started my career January 1st. And I finished everything but 4 classes for broker school. So I have
Nice.
4 more classes to take July 10th, and I got to start studying for the test and shit. Yeah. A little nervous about the test. I'm not a good test taker, so Nickie's going to help me, kind of give me some insight and advice and keys to success. I got this
Yes.
box that came in the mail that has 600 vocabulary words. I'm excited about that. Not 600 vocabulary words.
I picked up on the sarcasm there.
And they fuck with you, man. And they fuck with you, dude. It's like you know, they'll have one definition, and then they'll make all the words backwards and upside down and right and left, and it's the same answer, but it's worded completely differently. And 95% of the shit I will never use. Like, I'm not being a broker to open my own brokerage. I'm being a broker because my company, we're all associate brokers, which means you're a broker, but you don't hang a license. You're just an associate broker. So you can step in anytime Nick leaves. We can step in and cover the office, whatnot. But it helps with our insurance, because all realtors have error and omissions insurance, because if you're a broker, you're considered that much higher than a regular realtor, because you've spent the time to do 90 extra hours of education and took a 400 question test on a computer. You don't read it on the table. It's on a computer. You got to press the button.
I think my sister's got to do stuff like that. Her re-education training to keep her license. She's a PTA, physical therapy assistant. So every so often,
right on. Yeah, I would think so.
Every so often she's got to take re-up her education, or whatever they call it. Like you just said, she always talks about, I got to have so many hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, continuing education. It's pretty. I mean, I like it. It's cool. We do. My office is unique in the fact that once a month, the last Wednesday of every month, we have continuing education classes. So you just go to that one class every year. You're going to have all the education that you need for the criteria. So it's kind of cool like that.
I would much rather just
don't do that, but we do.
Do this. So if everybody would just, share this with their friends and, listen to it constantly, just put it on repeat and turn the volume down. Do us a favor. So I don't like my job as much as Chris does. I would much rather just do this and entertain you guys. I'll do whatever you want. Be an idiot,
That's awesome.
My job's not horrible, but there's other things that people would like to do with their life other than build fuel injectors all day long,
Oh, that's what you do? I didn't know what you did. I just knew you worked there. You build fuel injectors?
Yeah. For big,
That's cool. Speaking of fuel,
big equipment, they're big fuel injectors.
For what? Tractors?
anything that they make.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of equipment?
We're not going to promote their brand on
What do
this
they make?
podcast. So, but yeah, anybody that
Okay.
knows where I work knows where I work. I'm not giving them free
Okay.
advertisement, but yeah, you can kind of guess. They make big stuff.
Good job. Good job. So I was driving my truck Saturday, and all of a sudden we pulled into Costco because we were going to get some steak, and it started like you know what a washboard road is, right?
Yeah, and remind me, I got a car story for you too. Go ahead.
Okay. So we pull into Costco, and it's all of a sudden like I'm driving on a washboard. I'm like, what the fuck, So we go home, park it, take it to the mechanic Monday. So then when he called me today, I was talking to him. I was like, it's shifting fine. It's not the transmission. I mean, I don't know shit about vehicles, but I'm like, to me, it's got to be a spark plug or something like that because it just seems like it's off. Sure as shit, spark plugs. So 8 spark plugs and 8 coils because he's like, I could just replace one coil, the bad coil, with the spark plug. And
then the next one will go bad.
But then the other coils are going to go bad. Right. So
and they got
just
to
to
tear it all
replace
apart
8
again.
spark plugs and 8 coils, $1,400, man.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. That's on your truck?
I am. Yeah, $1,800. It's a V8, obviously.
That's yeah.
But
well,
yeah.
I've seen your truck, so I kind of understand.
man.
That's why I said I'm not surprised. That's a lot of work, man.
Yeah, I don't know how much work is entailed in that, but
well, it used to be.
I know old school when I had like my
used to be super easy.
You take
right?
off the air filter thing, right? And you take
You
the
bet.
distributor,
Yeah.
right. And you take off the distributor cap, and there's
now
where
they
the
got to
plugs
take
are.
off
You
like
get
the
that
whole
special
top
wrench.
of the fucking motor to get to your spark plugs. Because if
that's fucking stupid.
You've lifted
Even
your
those-
engine up, you've looked in there, it's jammed in there, and there's covers over everything, and it's a fucking nightmare, man. Because now your spark plugs are buried in the middle of the engine. Well, you might be more wide open because you got a pretty big truck, but
yeah. I got a truck. I don't think mine's like that because every now and then I'll squirt it down with the degreaser. Like my Chevy, I could see them. I could open my trunk, my hood, and I could see the spark plugs. With the distributor caps on them, the little plug thing. But yeah.
So might be
since you've been doing this podcast, my truck's been in the shop 3 times, Mike.
I've noticed.
Like what the fuck, man?
Yeah, that's not a testament to that model.
No. And you think it'd be fine because it's not being driven for 90 minutes or so every week because we're podcasting. Like it's usually resting in the garage. So what's your car story?
So I went to the casino Saturday with a buddy of mine. We went to Northwest Indiana to the Hard Rock Casino.
Okay.
I've never been there before, so I wanted to go check it out.
Okay.
So he had a free weekend, and
nice.
He's like, let's go hit it up, see what happens. So we're driving along, got the tunes going. He's telling me a story about the old days, and I look down and it says low fuel. And my gas gauge is buried on empty.
Oh.
Right? Yeah. Well, I filled up the night before because it was Saturday. So we're about, I don't know, 80 some miles from home. We were almost there. So I pulled off at this big truck stop and, I knew I filled up the night before. Like, I remember being there. So I crawled underneath the car and it would have been, wet all over, and turned out it was probably like a sending unit or something. So I said, let's top it off. Make sure, just to be safe, let's not just take off. Actually, Rob probably said, let's top it off.
Yeah.
So I throw the credit card in there, put the gas, $3. We're good.
Right.
So we get back out on the road and we go to the casino, and in the first 20 minutes, we both, in the first 20 minutes, we won over $400 between the two of us. And we left with approximately that same amount of money. I might have left with a little less than what I had won in that first 20 minutes, but Rob kept what he had. So we get back on the road after having a nice lunch, nice Italian beef. I think he had corned beef. Yeah. Delicious at this restaurant they had there. We actually sat down at a restaurant and ate because it was their money anyway.
Good.
So we get back out on the road and we're cruising along, and I'm making fun of the fact that, it looks like we have no gas. So I said, why do people put gas in their car and spend all this money and bitch about it? You can drive around on E as long as you want. So just like you, I'm sitting with a person whose mind goes into overdrive, and he says, wouldn't it be crazy if the whole objective, it was like the Bizarro universe where you started off on E and you worked your way to full, and without missing a beat, he waited like 2 seconds, and then he says, they'd figure out a way to fuck you there too, right? You'd have to pull off, and they'd have to empty your car out.
Yes,
sir, you're full. You're full. That'll be $3.35 a gallon to empty you out. There you go. You're empty now. It'll be $46. Get you back on the road.
Yep.
All right. Thank you for stopping for the U.S. government. Now, here's the funny part.
And it's true. It would totally do that.
Here's the funniest part of the whole story. Okay. About 45 seconds after that, my gas gauge started working again. So it's like he talked us right back out of that patch of. We came back into this reality.
Wow.
It was just weird, man. He says, you're welcome. You can't make this shit up.
That is weird, dude.
He literally just got done telling that crazy story, and 45 seconds later, my gas gauge started working again, and it's worked ever since. So
that is so weird, dude.
Yeah, it's fucking.
Did you hit a bump?
That's what he said. After he took credit for it, he's like, you probably just hit a nice spot in the road where it started that thing working again.
Right.
One thing that we both understand really well is
That's
like
insane.
Proximity switches, because we deal with them a lot at work, and with modern electronics on your car, there's a lot of things called prox switches. So some of them are just like laser guided lights where they have to see each other, or whatever doesn't work.
Oh,
so, and then you have sending units,
like the garage door opener, opener safety sensors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We deal with a lot of stuff like that, and then we'll deal with switches that, cause an operation to start. You have a lot of that stuff working in your car all the time. And then apparently you have what's called a sending unit in your gas tank. That can go bad. He knows a lot about cars. I'm like you. I know how to put the gas in it. I can check the oil. I know how to put air in the tires. I could change the tire if I had to, but when it comes to the motor, I'm a fucking idiot. So he was telling me all these things that could potentially go bad. And as soon as we saw that there was no gas underneath the car, we were both super happy and we enjoyed our day. So the worst thing that could have happened is it would have been like one of those relay units or whatever that tells the gas gauge how much gas is in the tank, But it was just crazy.
When I hit a deer in my Chevy, we hit it.
It was crazy how he said that, and then the fucking thing started working again.
That is crazy. When I hit a deer in my Chevy, it was like $7,000 worth of damage, and they didn't total it, which was surprising. I owned it, so the insurance company fixed it. But then my gas gauge wasn't working. And so then I called them up. I'm like, my gas gauge isn't working. And they're like, well, it has nothing to do with the accident. I'm like, but it worked before the accident. So it stands to reason it was caused by said accident. So it should be fixed post-accident. Yeah, they didn't buy it. So I just had to pretend I knew how fast I was going in my truck.
They never did fix it?
Nope.
Well, that's fucked up, man.
It wasn't long after that it just, once you hit it, I had that thing from 2,400 miles to 287,000 miles. And once you hit a deer and then they put it back together, it's just never the same. Because this was a big fucking deer. And I gutted it because I had tow hooks in the front of my truck. So it got caught and it split in two. But it's just, imagine, it was a 2004 Chevy Silverado Z71 4x4 lifted. And it wasn't the fiberglass bullshit. It was the metal frame. You know what I mean? Like the stuff that preppers would drive right now because there's no computers and shit in it.
Right.
And the only thing wrong with it, there's a little tear in the driver's side seat. I had a couple dings in the center cap from when people hit me because I'd always speed up to make
That's
sure.
not the truck you had when you were in the band, was it?
Instead of the big black one.
Yeah.
No, I had the blue one. I had the blue.
Yeah,
Ford
you had a
lifted
blue
one.
truck. Then.
Yeah, that was a different one.
Okay.
Yeah,
that was a nice truck too.
That was 2 vehicles later. It was a nice truck. Nickie was pissed when I sold that. We got pregnant with Skylar, and I traded in on Geo Prism, and she was so fucking pissed.
Yeah, I'd have been mad at you too.
It wasn't conducive to a child.
Wussy car.
Yeah, she was mad. Yeah. Right, he totally was a wussy. But that fucking Geo Prism, dude, that thing drove that fucking.
I bet it got about 90 miles to the gallon too, right?
A Ford or sedan. Oh, it was a good car for doing something stupid. It was a good car, And
the one thing those things had going for them is they did get a shitload of gas mileage.
Yep. Yeah, because the Ford I had, it wasn't a full crew cab; it was an extra cab, so you couldn't really put a car seat back there, and you couldn't put the car seat in the front seat. So it's kind of like, I forget what she was driving at the time, but it was just like, you have to be able to transport too, And so now I just have a truck, and she's got her Jaguar, and there you go.
And I got the '08 Malibu, man.
What's the weather like there? You guys? Oh, right on. How was that?
I love it. It's got the same motor as they put in the Cadillac CTS that year. So I don't got the looks or the luxury, but I have the same motor, so it moves.
I don't know what a Chevy Malibu looks like. It's a Chevy, right?
Yeah. Look up 2008 Chevy Malibu. You'll see a picture of it right there on the Google machine, as you like to say.
I am. Googly machine. Malibu 2008.
Mine's like metallic blue.
It's not a bad looking car.
No.
Okay. Oh, I like the blue. Blue's a good color.
And it's light, and it has 257 horsepower or whatever, so it'll get up and go when you need it to.
Nice.
I'm not going to drive 130 all the time, but when I hit the gas, it's nice to move. In a 4-cylinder, you hit the gas and you kind of got to put your foot out the door to, get yourself going faster. This doesn't require that. You can move even with the air on.
Right on. Yeah,
that's all I want.
My truck runs on there you go. My truck runs on ethanol, which is kind of cool. So
like straight ethanol?
Every now and then I'm supposed to put gas in it. Yeah.
No shit.
Yep. I
just read an article where more and more vehicles are doing that.
There's 2 gas stations that have. Yeah, I love it because it like my Chevy had a Vortec V8 in it. It was the fucking badass.
Yeah, those are nice.
Engine and this the ability to put the ethanol in this Ford, it gives it that feel when I step on it, and it runs so much different with ethanol than it does with gas.
What's the price difference in ethanol versus gas?
It's cheaper. Ethanol is cheaper. So if gas is $7, this is $4. So it's way cheaper.
What is gas there right now?
Like $5.
Okay, we're at $3.59.
Okay. Yeah. So if I had ethanol there, I'd be, $1.99.
No shit. That's that's a nice savings.
It's that much cheaper. Yeah, it's that much cheaper. It's pretty legit.
And believe it or not, I actually remembered your question. It's like 80 degrees today, but tomorrow it's going to be 91.
Oh, right on. But what's your humidity? That's the question.
It's going to be.
Because see, here we're 107 today, and yeah,
it's going to be bad.
It's brutal.
Not quite as bad as when it gets to be 90 in August, but it's bad enough. It's probably I'll tell you right now, it's probably 65% humidity. Oh yeah, turn my Wi-Fi off.
Well, I'm sending you a link on your phone, which is
I called them
about
fuckers today about the internet.
Yeah.
They're not
What'd
moving.
they say?
They're not moving very fast, man. They said August.
Right. Oh, I thought it was July.
It was supposed to be like April or May.
Oh, fuck.
I was
You think
way
they're
off,
going to get
man.
that done before August? It's going to be hot in August.
It's only 37% humidity. So it's nice out today.
Well, that's
it's
good.
78.
Yeah. Right on. It was 73 this morning when Nickie and I went for a walk.
Well, it's going to be 47 when I wake up.
Oh, well, that's nice.
We're only 5 degrees hotter than it was when you woke up. It's 78. And then it's going to be 47 overnight.
Wow.
It felt good this morning.
Yeah. Those days are gone for us for a while, you know.
What'd you say, 107?
Yeah, 107 today. And the reason I know that our scale, our Garmin scale, when you weigh yourself, because we're doing the 75 hard, it tells you what the high and low is, weather for the day, which is kind of cool, among other things. It's pretty interesting, you know.
So another thing that we did on that road trip was I listened to that entire Slash album from front to back, the new one.
Oh, what'd you think? I haven't listened to the whole thing back to back, but do you like it?
I love it, man. There's not a bad track on it other than
Okay.
I'm going to out myself. I'm not an Iggy Pop fan, and the Iggy Pop song on there is not my favorite. I actually already kind of removed it. It just kind of drones.
I've never been a big Iggy Pop fan either, dude.
All right, well, I'll have to ask Tony what he thinks of Iggy Pop. I'd like to hear his opinion. Maybe it's a trifecta.
Yeah,
maybe we all don't like Iggy Pop. It's not my thing. I respect him as an artist. I know why people revere him because you know he led a movement, and I totally understand why he is who he is. It's just not my thing. The whole rest of the album completely fucking kicks ass. The version of Papa Was a Rolling Stone by Demi Lovato is amazing.
Yeah.
And then the second to last track is Stormy Monday, and Beth Hart sings it. Beth Hart is probably, you'll have to Google it. I think she's probably in her 60s. She might be in her 70s now. Her claim to fame is she's sung with some of the greatest musicians in the world, most notably Jeff Beck, on stages all over the world. And when you hear her version of this song, you'll understand why. She just fucking tears it up. Like she overshadows Slash with her vocals.
Okay.
You kind of forget that he's playing guitar.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. The Demi Lovato, she succeeds because Slash probably produced a lot of her vocal, I'm guessing. He really pulled a lot out of her because she's a pop singer, right? She's not used to really belting shit out.
Yeah.
She's used to being very precise and on the beat, you know? She just let loose, man. And you can tell someone coaxed it out of her because she was one of those Disney. If you don't know, Demi Lovato, she comes from the Disney family like Miley Cyrus, and she's a pop singer.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, fuck, you know, there has to be a reason that he chose her. When I saw her name, it kind of stuck out. I was like, why would he choose her? Then I heard her version of Papa Was a Rolling Stone, and it blows most covers away. So you should definitely check it out.
All right, cool. I'll listen to it. I have the whole thing, but we've been in a country music box right now because you know Nickie and I dance, and we do like tonight's our dance lessons, and then we started doing we did a line dance class last night. But it's just so as we're doing our thing at Denim and Diamonds, I like the rock and country music, so things start popping off, and then so we started adding country music to her mix, her playlist that I have, and so we kind of for the last month we've just kind of been in that little. I mean, music's music, you know that. Song's got a beat and a groove. I'm gonna like it, you know. And there's some cool stuff, like, you know.
There is.
Like, yeah. There's a really cool song that she likes that wasn't country, but it was played at Denim and Diamonds, called "Shake That Ass for Me."
Oh yeah, I've heard that song.
It's Eminem, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the funny thing, man. I never heard it before. I heard it there. It's a good song, catchy beat, driving, you know. Fucking hear it at Orange Theory Fitness like 2 days later. Like, that's crazy. Like, never heard it ever.
Tell me we're not living in the fucking Matrix.
Nickie knows it because Nickie's always been. Dude, it's the weirdest thing, man. Because it's, you know, she sent me this, or she showed me this meme. This TikTok reel where this dude's in his house and it's like 30 different songs, like little snippets of 30 different songs, and every song he knew and was singing to him. She's like, "That's me." Like, she knew every single song. So I opened up the whole. Like, well, let's start adding stuff to your playlist that I have. So that kind of opened up the whole country thing. And then when we hear a song we like at Denim, I'll make a note of it in my Apple Notes and, you know, come home and download it. And all of a sudden, there's all this other side of Nickie musically. And she's not like I can have music on all the time and be productive. She can't, because she wants to sing the songs and wants to dance around and stuff. So she can't have that white noise. She needs to have the silence, where I got to have the white noise. I got to have something, you know. It's like when I do lawn, when I go out and do yard work, I put my AirPods in and noise canceling, so they drown out the tractor, and I just do my thing.
All right, so that kind of leads into a subject that I've wanted to talk about for a while anyway. So I think that's what sets musicians apart from what I would call regular people, right? You got musicians and you have regular people. And then regular people all of a sudden say, "Oh, you think you're better than me, right? You're better than me because you're a musician." Like, no, I don't think I'm better than anybody. And we don't think we're better than anybody. Yeah. What I'm saying when I say that is that our brain works differently, right? So it's almost like your brain and my brain, and especially drummers, your brain, your synapses are firing at a rate that is like unbelievable compared to somebody who hasn't mastered an instrument or been a singer or had to use their brain in a way that required your subconscious to work overtime at a level that most people don't ever even scratch the surface of, maybe when they're dreaming, you know. You're doing that while you're performing.
Well, I think part of right, but I think a lot of that too is muscle memory. You know what I mean? Like, when
that's only a small part of it.
You rehearse a song so many times.
So that's the physical aspect of it, right? That's
I never thought of it that way. That's interesting.
The physical aspect of it is your muscle memory. That's your brain telling your hands and your mouth and your vocal cords and your diaphragm. That's your brain telling all that stuff to work. So that's the physical aspect of it. It's actually been scientifically proven that as a musician, your brain can't distinguish between playing a D chord and a G chord. So like that movement going from D to G is impossible to think about and accomplish at the same time. You can't do it. You just have to know how to do it.
Weird.
So like literally when people ask me, how do you do that? Cool. My answer has habitually been from moment number one, when I actually felt like I was a player, I've always said, I don't know instinctively. Yeah. Because I really don't know. I couldn't tell you. Yeah. So I don't even know how I don't even know how you'd start to explain it. You know, like my index finger, then my middle finger, then my ring finger, then my pinky, then my ring finger, then my middle finger. It's like, how would you even tell somebody how to? We discussed this at one time on the podcast. When I went to my first guitar lesson, my first question was, how do you know where to put your fingers? And fucking Bob laughed at me, like, you know, for a while. It took him a while to stop laughing because it is fun. Yeah. You know, and he instantly was like, I'm not laughing at you. Believe me, we'll be laughing with each other at some point because you'll understand why that's such a funny question. Like, how would you even start explaining? Right. So people a lot smarter than me.
But that's the analytical side of you.
Yeah. Well, scientists that are a lot smarter than me that have actually done government funded studies have proven that music is one of the only activities that you do that uses both sides of your brain at the same time. It's required. You have to use your thinking and your non-think, or whatever they call it, your left and right brain. Whatever one does and the other doesn't.
Right.
You're using them at the same time.
Gotcha. I had a weird little
freeze up on me?
thing spinning saying trying to reconnect.
I think you froze up on me, ladies and
gentlemen. Are you frozen? You're frozen. Mike Michaels is frozen. Hello.
Hello?
Oh, I'm back.
Oh, there
I'm
we
back.
go.
Is he back?
He's back.
Are you there? Okay. I had a weird
I'm
thing
back.
I had a weird thing saying it was trying to reconnect. So I didn't know if it was you or me, but it was saying it was trying to reconnect to the internet. So I switched I have two internets, so I switched it real quick to avoid the chaos.
Well, it worked.
And it seemed to work.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I really think that's
we have Starlink, and then we have Cox, and every now and then Starlink is funny. Go ahead, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I can't wait to have new fiber optic internet. So I really think that's what sets off the difference between somebody who's mastered a discipline and somebody who hasn't. So, they say the 10,000 hour rule or whatever.
Yep,
once you've done that
10,000 times, you got to do something 10,000 times to be good at it.
Yeah. Once you've done that one time in one thing, the one thing that I can say for myself is I appreciate so much more somebody else that's put forth that effort in whatever their discipline is, be it martial arts or underwater basket weaving. I don't care. Whatever you put that much time into, if you can produce a piece of whatever that makes me go, wow, I'm going to have the same appreciation for that person that I do as Jimi Hendrix. It's not just music that I appreciate because it took me that much time, years and years and years, to feel like I was competent enough to sit in a room and play with other people. As far as being a professional musician, that's a whole nother level.
Yeah.
It's like, now we're going to play the songs to the point where most people would have tapped out years before that. Imagine how many times we played Nothing Man. You couldn't even pull a number out,
Right.
If you count writing it, practices, recording it, whatever, all the performances, how many times did you play all those songs? Nobody ever went, we got to play that again.
No idea.
That's the difference between being in a band and a musician and a songwriter and what I would call just, regular people. Right. Regular people are going to tap out quick, and I don't blame them.
The only time we didn't, right. The only time we didn't play something again is if we decided it didn't work live. But otherwise, we played them all. But I don't really think we had anything that didn't really work live. In my last band, we had a couple songs that didn't work live. Shadow by Your Side did not work live because it's a headphone trippy song. It's the song about the serial killer from the mind of the serial killer, which I told you before that would make a great book. Like just the lyrics of that song is the entire plot of a book. But that didn't carry over live. It just wouldn't. Back in the 60s, that would have been something that you could compare, not comparing the song itself, because The End is a fantastic tune that Morrison wrote, but it has that kind of psychedelic vibe to it. And if your entire premise of your music catalog was based on that, it would work live, but it just doesn't work live when you have rockin' songs. That's kind of like the country stuff. Nickie and I have been pulling songs out like, oh, that's a good song. So I don't buy just the song, I buy the album. So then when we buy the album, we'll go somewhere and we'll listen to the album. And we know within the first 20, 30 seconds, maybe even 10, if we like the song or not. And it's mind-boggling how many country artists will have 12 songs on an album and only 2 are rocking. Everything else is, you might as well just fucking sit down in the seat and go to sleep while you're at a concert.
That's because that's insane, what those people like, man.
There's like the bulk of, but
they
it's
can't
fucking
handle too much
boring.
energy.
Like I would fall asleep. No, but country music is so poppy now, and it's because we've talked about that too, and it's shifted, it's changed. It's not, it's not sit in your chair anymore, and like the Charlie Prides and the Willie Nelsons and shit. You go and you sit down in a chair and you fucking watch the auditorium. You never have a reason to stand up because they're so fucking boring.
Right.
Icons or not, they're fucking boring music, right? George Strait, I can't imagine anybody standing, or Alan Jackson, just fucking, the bulk of their stuff is boring, but then they have these hits because of the longevity of their career. There's some stuff that's rocking, but if you look at it album by album, it's like fucking 10 or 12 are boring, slow dance songs. Who wants to go to a concert and have slow-paced dance songs like you did in the 8th grade, man? No, you go to a concert, get lifted up and fucking riled up and have a good time, and
you and I
lose control, and
you got to remember, not everybody's you and I.
Well, I just think people in general, right?
Mama Kay doesn't want to get riled up anymore. She might want to go to a nice country concert.
Well, right, but
that's who they're catering to, for the most part.
Yeah.
Unless they're catering to the young artists.
I guess they're just.
We got to leave room. We got to leave room for there's other kinds of people that what we consider boring, they consider amazing. There's people that like to go look at plants and shit.
Well, that's just stupid. That's just stupid, Mike. We need to change the world one song at a time. So if you're listening, 12-song album with only 2 rockin' songs is bad. Don't buy that album. You got to have at least 50-50. I get
you're preaching to the choir, but I got to be devil's advocate every now and then.
You got to have a ballad. Oh, I know. I mean, it's like the Scorpions. Love at First Sting spawned an entire generation of children. That was like the most popular power ballad of that year, and legitimately 9-10 months after that song came out, there was a baby boom. So there's places for power ballads. I'm not saying there's not, but
that was a great song by a great band. We're dealing with kids that grew up playing fucking Nintendo.
That whole album was good. Right. That whole album. Love First Sting, great album.
Absolutely.
Great fucking album.
One of the best concerts I've ever been to. They were an amazing live band. I don't care what anybody says. You can argue the... Yeah, and we'll get Tony to talk about that too. You can argue the whole Michael Schenker, Rudy Schenker, Matthias, whatever happened there. I know a lot of those stories. Tony knows a lot of those stories. He probably knows those guys, but you can't take away from the fact that they were an amazing live band. They just were. I fucking love that.
Oh, absolutely.
They were, and they still are. I'll be brutally honest, dude. I liked a couple Scorpion songs that were on MTV in the day, and I learned how to play Rock You Like a Hurricane because it's easy to play on the guitar. But I wasn't a huge fan until I moved to Arizona and I went to see them live, and I was like, holy fucking shit, I get it now, right? These guys are amazing.
Yeah. I saw the Worldwide Live Tour, and it was at Phoenix International. No, not Phoenix International. It was at Compton Terrace. Remember Compton Terrace?
Oh yeah, I saw Stevie Nicks
it was
and White Zombie.
I don't remember the headliner. Yeah, the headliner was and Stevie Nicks' dad used to own that place.
Yes, he
did. Scorpions headlined it. Scorpions headlined it, and then it was right.
She said that at the concert.
I don't remember the order, but Scorpions headlined it, and then the other act. That's okay. The other acts on the bill were Aerosmith, Loudness, Autograph.
Loudness, Japanese band.
Oh, fucking yeah! A couple other pissant ones that. So this is my first introduction to Aerosmith. Like my brother had a couple Aerosmith albums, but I didn't realize who Aerosmith was. I think they were the third band away from the Scorpions.
Oh, no shit. Aerosmith was opening up for the Scorpions at this point. They were struggling.
It was. Scorpions were the head. I think they were there were 6 bands total. I think Aerosmith was I'm going to say they were 4th, and then I don't know who the fuck was after them.
Oh, you said this was the Worldwide Live Tour, right?
Worldwide Live Tour, yeah.
Yeah, they were on top of the world then.
Yep. It was. But my biggest takeaway from the Scorpions that show, it was exactly like the video, because they had the VHS of the Worldwide Live Tour, and it followed them all over the world. Right? Yep. Remember that video?
I do.
The show was just like that, verbatim. it was completely rehearsed to the fact that, like we talked about, muscle memory, the physical, everything was exactly the same as though I was watching the video in my house. Still phenomenal. But Aerosmith, didn't really know of them, and Steven Tyler, like the crowd they played a song, whatever, I don't even remember what song they played, but the crowd was cheering, and they kind of calmed down. He starts rambling what he was talking about, and all I remember him saying is, "I want you all to close your eyes and dream on." And then he fucking started. I'm like, holy shit! That watching him play Dream On, I'm like, who the fuck is this? Because I think that was when they were coming back from their chaos of him and the Toxic Twin thing. I think that was that era that they weren't together forever. So this was them kind of building back up their world. So yeah, that was my introduction to Aerosmith. 2 or 3 bands before the Scorpions, and he just, I want you all to close your eyes and dream on, and it just, the fucking place just lost it. I'm like, why is everybody just cheering, right? And then just stood there and watched, like, damn, that's a fucking song. Just, and the journey and the crowd and just all the lighters, because lighters, it was so badass, cool. Man. It was a good.
It's not the same with cell phones.
Yeah, loudness I don't really remember. Yeah, it was fucking outstanding, man.
Autograph should have been good. Steve Lynch was a great guitar player.
I was in high school. Yeah, they were good. I don't remember too much about it other than the Aerosmith song and the Scorpions playing, because I didn't, I knew who Loudness was, and Autograph turned up the radio. David Lee Roth discovered Autograph. You knew that probably. One of his buddies. I think the singer was his buddy or something. But yeah. Good band.
There's 2 things that, there's 2 bands on that bill that you just mentioned, that any other band that's going to be on that bill, if they don't already have their shit together, you just prove that they're going to get blown off the stage, because Aerosmith and the Scorpions, if you're putting a band together and you want to be an arena rock or a stadium band, you better go watch live performances of Aerosmith from the 70s and Aerosmith from the 90s and beyond. And you better go watch performances of the Scorpions for their entire fucking career, because they will blow you off a stage every day and twice on Sunday, because they got their shit together.
Yeah.
And to my point earlier, to get to that point, you got to really put in some work. Nobody sees all the hours that you're putting into that before you get to the point where you blow somebody off a stage. You're talking serious commitment.
Oh, agreed. That's why I said that the biggest takeaway from the Scorpions that night was it was just like the video, the worldwide live video. I watched that thing until the fucking, because I'm that guy that I would put in. I'd get the rock videos, rock concerts, and I'd have it in the VCR and it would be background.
Me too. Me too.
Just I ran that. I ran that thing until you the screen would start bouncing and the little bubbles,
Gotta get a new copy.
And you turn the TV up as loud as you can. Yeah, you turn the TV up as loud as you can, because you didn't have
shit speaker
stereo systems yet. And then you get the stereo system, you plug on this, fucking Scorpions, man, Remember doing that with Queensryche. They had a couple cool VHS things I watched, and Building
I had those too.
Operation Mindcrime and shit. Just fucking rock that shit out.
I love that stuff, man.
Yep.
I told you I got so wrapped up into music.
And it sucks you can't find them now.
Like my parents, my mom in particular, made me actually go outside and, be social.
Yeah.
Little did she know that I just kind of had a semi-antisocial personality. I know a lot of people. I have very few friends that I actually call, that I trust and that make me a better person. That group is very small, present company included. But I know a shit ton of people, so people assume I have a lot of friends. Like the people that are truly my friends, they know it.
Yeah. I'm the same way, though. I know a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people, but it's the same concept. Am I going to invite them over for dinner?
No.
No offense to anybody who's listening.
No, I mean,
Nickie and I aren't big. We don't, we're not big. Oh, let's have parties and shit. We're not,
The people in my life know who they are. I keep in contact with them very regularly.
Yeah.
Might not be every day, but it's at least, once a month, every week, a lot of them every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also have levels of friendship, It's like there's people I have to keep in touch with. Obviously, somebody I'm doing a podcast with, and my immediate family, and a couple other people that I contact very regularly. But for the most part, man, it's like making that circle super small is what saved my life. It's like the people that I know are in my corner all the time, those are the people that I'm going to protect as far as when they need something or whatever. I can't believe I went off on that entire tangent, and I was trying to prove a point about I'm semi-antisocial because I like playing the guitar so much and I wanted to be a professional musician, and people don't understand what kind of commitment that required, the time and hours and days and months, that you sacrifice time with friends, family, whatever. It has to be done, or you're never going to get to the point where we stood on a stage opening for national acts. It's just not going to happen. So I locked the door of my apartment and I sat there and I wrote songs and I practiced them over and over and over and over and over and over to the point of nauseam, Then I started putting a band together.
Right.
It's like, here's a bunch of ideas.
Right. And and then you play them in your sleep and you wake up and you got a song in your head. Then you got a riff in your head. That thing I hate more than trying to go to sleep, and then you have a melody stuck in your head and it won't shut up. Like, stop singing that song.
Yes.
Stop it. I want to go to sleep. It really
sucked before the iPhone.
It's insanity. Right.
Like, let me plug it into my
just insanity
4-track recorder here and get the levels up, and fuck.
Right.
Yeah. It was a lot of work just to get an idea down back in the day.
It was. Right. And you hope you still have the idea by the time you get everything hooked up and ready to go, which is why we just started recording practices, because it was the best way to record the ideas.
Yes, absolutely. And for you young musicians out there, that's the best lesson that I ever got from my teacher was tape don't lie. And back then we were recording to cassette tapes.
Nope.
Ladies and gentlemen, kids. So now your iPhone don't lie. So if you wonder if your playing is up to par, record yourself. You'll hear yourself speeding up, slowing down, hitting strings you're not supposed to be. It just doesn't lie. And it forces you to become a better player. To Chris's point, you record everything you do and you go back and listen to it, and then all of a sudden you say, okay, that needs to be tightened up there. That's too long there. I'm out of key here. Your guitar's out of tune over here. You hear all that stuff because it's real easy to convince yourself that you sound amazing. I do it all the time. I'll be writing something and I'll record it, and then I'll be like, what a piece of shit that is. Let's scrap that idea.
Right.
Like, holy crap, that's awful.
Yep.
I must have, smoked one too many off the hitter or something. It's like, it sounded good at the time, but I listened to it back and it sounds like a monkey trying to fuck a football,
Yeah.
And then other times it works in reverse, where you'll record something and you won't think it's that great when you're listening to it, and you listen to it back on the tape and you're amazed that you even played it. It's better than I thought it was, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But definitely record yourself. That's great advice.
Those are those magic moments, because you don't know what you're creating when you're in the moment of jamming, and then all of a sudden, like, holy shit. That's how a couple of the songs I want to actually do that we never did were Silhouette of an Outcast and King of Misery, because those were just me improving, nothing else. And the hook's there, the lyrics are there. It's just like, those are two great foundations of songs that can be built into something badass.
One other thing,
but they wouldn't have existed had we not hit record.
Exactly. One other thing I missed that you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Things that you miss about that you can't recreate unless you're there is that moment right before.
Yeah.
I don't care if it was a practice or a gig, or mostly practices or gigs, but when just before you're ready to start playing, there's an energy the volume's up,
Yeah.
the amps are up, but there's no
Yeah.
sound yet, right? There's an energy that starts lifting up right at that moment in time that you can't recreate that anywhere on earth.
Mm-mm.
Because it's almost like a hive mind, all 4 people or 5 people or 10, however many people are in the band, are all of a sudden we're all tuned in on the same wavelength at the exact same moment in time. And I don't care what anybody says. That's the only magic I've ever encountered on earth that I know was 100% real because I experienced it thousands of times.
Yep. I agree with that. 100%.
That's a feeling that
too, where it doesn't matter what your day's like, doesn't matter what you're going through.
Right.
You just boom, you're in that moment, and then time, and then all of a sudden 2 hours later, like, fuck, we've been doing this for 2 hours. Holy shit, man, I'm hungry. Let's go get some tacos. But
I just sweated off 5 pounds.
You get taken away. Time. Right. You just it's crazy though. It's true. It's true.
Well, that's another thing about music, dude.
It just doesn't.
You're actually, we've talked about time travel on this podcast. You're actually manipulating time when you're playing music. You're controlling the tempo. You're controlling. You're controlling time. It's the whole premise of the music. Right. What time signature is it in?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's the first question somebody asks after they say, "What key is it in?" What time signature, what tempo, and what key? You got 3 questions when you're a musician.
Yeah.
The whole premise of my argument is right in the fucking title. Time signature. You're controlling time.
Yep.
Which is what requires so much concentration.
That's a great way of looking at it. Yeah. Agreed. All right. Well, we're going to end on that note. I got to go pick up my truck because they just texted me.
All right.
So that's a good thing. Maybe
it's good to have
it
wheels.
Won't break again for a while.
I hope not. That sucks,
I'm driving
man.
Jake's car, but I shouldn't be driving Jake's car because Jake's car's not really insured. It's park insured, meaning that we don't move it. I move it around the neighborhood, but I don't drive it. So it's not technically a fully insured vehicle because he doesn't drive it. He's in San Diego. He's got, as of right now, 13 training days left until he graduates as a drill instructor.
Nice.
Yeah.
Probably the longest 13 days of his life.
Next week.
Oh, Jesus.
I think they're kind of hitting their stride now. You're past all the chaos of the building up, and and the end game is he does the crucible again as a drill instructor, which you go through the crucible as a recruit.
Right.
But you still got to graduate on the top of the mountain type thing. So, he knows what to expect. Like when you're a recruit, you don't know what to expect. But I think with the drill instructors, they understand what's coming because they're teaching them all the elements of it. So
that makes sense.
It'll be interesting when he gets home. It'll be interesting when he gets home to find, because I'm going to ask him, like, was the crucible different knowing that you knew what you were going against this time as opposed to when you first did it? Because
he's
when you
coming
first
back
did it,
on the podcast to tell us all about
your
it.
exhaustion, your beat down is.
I already got the commitment.
Oh yeah, he'll be home for a month. He'll once he graduates.
He told me through.
He goes back to
direct message.
Japan, I think, for a week. Oh, right on. Yeah. So then he comes back. He comes back hangs out here for a month before he starts his tour of duty as a drill instructor. So he'll be here for a month. So we'll definitely get him back on.
Oh yeah, he committed.
Show.
I asked him. He said, "Hell yeah, I'll talk about the difference." Like you said, the difference between when he was a recruit and when he's a drill instructor. So that'll be awesome. We'll get the 411.
I didn't know that. I was just great minds thinking alike, man.
We'll
get the scoop.
He said, "What's up?" one day, and I said, "Hey, welcome back or whatever, and glad you made it home safely," and blah blah blah. And then I said, "Hey, we'd love to have you back on the podcast." And he said, "Yeah, that'd be great." And he said exactly what you said, that he was going to be home for a little while, so he would be down to come tell us what the difference between
in the next
just being a normal recruit and what the whole drill instructor school was like.
Yeah, So between now and the end of the month, just shoot him a couple motivational texts. He'll appreciate that.
Will do.
Not, but just randomly. And usually it's after. Do it after like 5 o'clock Arizona time or California time, just because he's, he may respond, he may not. Just depends on what he's doing and if he's tired and if he's studying or whatnot. I'll get random messages from him, then he just stops talking, so I just assume he went to sleep.
That's probably a good
Because then
assumption.
I got to keep my eye on my phone because I don't want to miss his next text. Right, and then 2 hours later, sorry, Daddy fell asleep. It's like, it's all good, son. It's all good. All right, my friend. Have a wonderful Tuesday.
You too, brother.
All right, man. Need anything, reach out. Otherwise, we'll talk to you again soon. What was
All
this,
right.
episode 33?
Number 33.
Right? Episode
Yep.
30. Number
got it.
33. You see I put 32 up Sunday? Boom. Done.
Work like a
Getting
charm.
it done, son.
You picked up another subscriber too, so everybody
like a
go
charm.
check out
Yeah,
his
my brother, you
YouTube
have a-
channel, our YouTube channel.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, Chris maintains a nice channel there, so that's why I always give him
awesome.
credit. It's very nice, very organized. Everything looks nice. It's easy.
I try
If you
to.
like YouTube,
Yeah.
please subscribe. It's awesome. I like it. I use it a lot myself.
Yeah.
That's why I'm promoting it.
That's awesome. There you go.
All right, everybody have a
All
great
right, my
week.
friend.
Thanks for tuning in. Love you, brother. We'll see you next week.
Love you too, my friend.
Peace.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.